What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Punch Club. We gotta go see our brother, who I think has a mask on. He's been hiding from us the entire game. But first things first, we need to go to basic skills and we need to get skip attacks. One of the big things that's been haunting us this entire time is our energy, and this should solve that problem. We can swap it in for the block ability. We should have an active skill somewhere around here that we haven't taken yet either. Yeah, there's one right there. We've got a 5th active skill, so I'll probably take that too. Do not fall down, kind of a worthless ability if you're training a main stat. A lot of people actually really like these, but they're only useful if you're doing a multi-trait build. And what I mean by that is, so for example, this would be super useful if you were doing a strength build. Locking this at 13 so that you could work on other stuff would be a godsend, so you don't have to work on 2 stats at the same time. But if these are in your main stat, you know, they don't help that much, because I'm never going to go down to 13 agility anyways with this build. It will never happen. So is he doing, like, acupuncture right there? Doesn't it look like he's got a bunch of needles in him right now? He's radiating needles. That's his X-Men power. He's like, yeah, it's a painful power, but somebody gotta wield it. Somebody gotta wield it. I don't think you get robbed anymore at this point in the game either. What's up, G? Hello, brother. Ugh, so you finally realized, huh? Well, know this. I hate you with everything I can muster. You're the reason our father is dead. If you had been faster that night, we could have escaped and father would still be alive. We were kids. Father chose to sacrifice his life for us, and now we should work together to find his killer. No, I'll do it myself, and I know exactly where to find him. I'll become the Ultimate League champion and will be invited to the Mystery Island. So, I'll get my invitation too, and I'll see you on the island. If you're really going to try, Mick should be able to help you get the invitation. Mick, I know who killed my father. I need to get myself invited to the Island Championship. Ah, you mean the Man in Black. Every 4 years he gathers the best fighters from all over the world. On his island they fight each other to determine who's the best. At the Kumite. However, to this day, the Man in Black has held the champion title for himself. So I have to be an official world champion to get the invitation. You have a professional card. Nothing's keeping you from starting your professional career. But there's one problem. You'll have a hard time in a world of serious fighting if you don't have a manager. Why's that? Your fame is very important, you know. If you're not popular, nobody will want to fight with you. Of course, managers can't win your fights for you, but they can definitely help you with your popularity. I see. I have somebody in mind. His name is Ding Kong, and he's looking for a fresh star right now. I'll organize a meeting. Remember, you can't be a champion without his help. Alright, roger that. Alright, let's go see Don King. We now have a mansion, in case you were wondering. It's pretty sweet, right? Welcome, Mick told me about you. Come closer. I'm Ding Kong, and I'm the guy who makes champions out of weaklings like you. Now show me your biceps. I'm not impressed, but hey, I like a challenge. I've seen records of your fights, and my friends from Russia put in a good word for you. That's good. People love stories of wasters rising to the top. But I'm not a Your articulation is poor. It's best if you keep silent. Now, I think we've discussed everything we need. Sign here, here, and here. And then we can get this show on the road. But you'll live here. I've got a gym in the basement. You can also bring your girlfriend. All inclusive. You can write, right? So sign it then. I should do it. He's crazy, but he seems like he knows what he's doing. Contract signed. Great, your success in Russia brought you some fame, but it's not enough. We should work on your future. I have everything written here, and don't forget that you're a fighter, so you need to keep practicing. My chef will make all your meals, not for free, of course. I'll charge you daily. And as the contract says, I owe you in advance. So let's get going. Remember that I'm always here, so come to me, and we'll talk about your next step. So there it is. He gave us about $600 to play around with. Inside our fridge, we have herbal potions. We have all the food that we had previously, and so at the end of the day, they're going to add coffee. I think they're going to add no, not calamari. They add fish eggs. That's what it is. They add like roe or something like that. These are caviar. And so anyways, you talk to Ding Kong. This could be a little bit confusing the first time you do it, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it as though they have no idea what they're doing. And so basically, the way that this works is you have to earn enough fame in order to fight the next guy in your league. However, you've also got to spend fame to get all of these little bonuses down here. So it costs you $200 and 100 fame to shoot a movie. And then depending on how well you do at shooting a movie, you'll get that fame back and you might make more money, or you might not. In addition, these are passive upgrades over here. And so you can grant yourself a daily income of both fame and money by upgrading all this stuff over here. Not really worth it in my opinion, because when you spend this fame, your meter actually goes down, and it takes you a long time to get things done. Advertisements can be a good way for you to front stock some cash if you're broke. You will be spending a lot of money. I would highly recommend not sleeping from this point in the game forward. Never sleep again. Think Freddy Krueger. You know, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you and all that shit. Don't sleep ever again. Just work out nonstop and hope for the best. You'll be buying energy drinks and using herbal potions from here on in, so use them aggressively. Don't worry about your fights, but you are going to have to do movies and stuff like that at some point, but you're going to need good stats in order to win at the movies. So just be aware that you're going to need to get your stats higher before you can accomplish anything else. Higher and higher. That's the rule right there. Higher. I forgot the person up top. I like the one up top best. The up top voice is the best voice, I think, in my opinion. Now, without sleeping, you should be able to generate a lot of stats for yourself every single day. You should be able to be going like 350 to 400 points with all the workout gear that you have. Between that, the jump rope, the wing chun, and the pull-up bar, you should be pretty much 100% ready to go as far as agility is concerned. We shouldn't have the same problem that we have in Russia where we ran out of workout equipment to work on our main stat. So, bearing that in mind, just do your workouts until you run out of space. I would prioritize like this. I would go punching bag, pull-up bar, wing chun, jump rope. That's just the way that I view it. I don't know the specific numbers on the jump rope, but I do think the punching bag, the pull-up bar, and the wing chun are your best option for getting your agility up higher. The wing chun is a little bit underwhelming, I think, personally. But that being said, if you don't have an option, you don't have an option. So I'd run whatever you can. You're about to lose a strength point. That's not necessarily such a terrible thing. I know it seems like it would suck right now, but it's not actually that bad. Let's go in on some agility over here and just hope that we non-stop tick agility until we get closer to that 19 boundary. I'll go ahead and compare the numbers at the end of the day to see what we're gaining versus what we're losing. That will allow me to basically tailor-make our workout schedule and pick the perfect workout equipment to make sure we're making the biggest gains that we can every single day. Although in this case it won't be gains as in getting all buff and shit at the gym. It'll be gains as in getting more wiry and staying all over the place and kind of fighting like what's his name from Cowboy Bebop, flowing like water and all that shit. I always like that episode, but I hate it at the end where the kid dies. It upsets me. I don't know. All that he finally does it. He's like, did you see me? I finally did it. Cowboy Bebop was such a great god. Spike, there we go. I know I'd remember his name eventually. Such a great anime. There's a reason it's a classic. Such a good one. Such a good one. If you haven't watched it yet, I would recommend anybody buy it. It doesn't, if you're into sci-fi, if you're into anime, if you're into just awesome animation, if you're into anything really, it's a fantastic choice. Really solid. Really, it's like watching Miyazaki. You don't have to be an anime fan to enjoy it. This should be recharged by the time we do the full rotation, and this is where we're going to make our real gains right now. Give me them blue balls, put them in my meter for me right now. Trying to make a funky beat about blue balls, but unfortunately I got no funky beats right. It looks like somebody shot those cylinders. That's a terrible idea. I've seen what happens when those caps split off the top of them. They fly all over the place. They'll take your head off. Those things are gnarly as shit once they get moving. Definitely could be a fatal accident in there. I will probably go in on... Gonna run out of energy pretty soon. Let's do some pull-ups. I think we should have more than enough gains today. Yeah, I think 154 should be a pretty productive day for us. We should be able to push this pretty close to the 19 barrier. Stats start to get really, really sketchy after 20. Like really, really, really sketchy and difficult to raise. As far as agility builds go, I know the developers have been nerfing agility builds the last couple weeks, and I haven't played in a while, so I don't know if agility builds are still super viable at the end of the game. My strength build was godly by the end of the game. I was just knocking people out like in the first 8 seconds of the round. But with this build, there seems to be a little bit more... Oh, we're actually making really positive gains. That's perfectly fine. Good. Yeah, I don't think this is giving us very much. Like, the meter's not even moving when the bubble hits, so we may want to stay away from that for right now. Now, what's our rule when we run out of energy? Do not sleep. This part of the game will go on forever if you sleep. Like, seriously, do not sleep. They will give you some cafe just in case you wanted some coffee. I actually think that typo might be new. I think it said coffee normally the last time I played. We're going to drink some herbal medication there. Bam, bam. And then we're going to eat these. That'll get us back up and running, hopefully, or at least close enough. I would like to... We got to earn some fame. Let me push for 19 agility, and then we'll shoot a movie. I'm going to shoot a movie. That's still not fully charged up yet, so I think we might need a Wing Chun for a little while. It gives you such positive gains, though. I want to use it so much. I want to use it so much. Oh, my God. Oh, we got a little medicine ball over there. You know, I've never done training with a medicine ball. I feel like it'd be really, really efficient. Look, there's a pizza box right there, too. That seems like a weird place to leave a pizza box, but maybe he's using it to store, like, random pieces of equipment or something for the gym. I don't know, random little nuts and bolts and shit. Who knows? Hopefully our gains stay really solid. This is the part of the game that I will 100% admit is the most grindy. In order to make it all the way down the runway, you definitely have to give it some work and a little bit of love and squeezing, hugging, touching. So if you're not into the love and hug and squeezing, touching type stuff, you might have some issues here. I am into it. I'm a red-blooded man. I enjoy all that shit. Everything on that list are things that I enjoy. So let's go ahead and we'll put that up there. Ugh, we're getting so close and we're just falling short each time. I don't know what's more efficient. The jump rope or the Wing Chun. We did 282 that day. That's because I screwed up my rotation. Screwed up my rotation. We're going to have good days and bad days of training, and that unfortunately was a day where I think I actually hurt my own capabilities. Keep those points running on up. If you're wondering how you get more skill points at this point in the game, shooting movies. That's how you get it. So shooting movies, you go to a bunch of fights. The advertising just gives you a bunch of money for dressing up like a caveman in a cage, Jason Statham style. And then what was the other? Oh, yeah, you can party. And partying is how you just get more famous, but it costs you money. So if you're trying to grind out your fights really fast and just, like, qualify for the fights, you'll want to go with just party. Party as hard as you can for hours and hours and hours at a time. And that'll get your fame up very, very quickly. And in fact, that's how I actually had to clear the game by the time I got to the end. I started running just non-stop parties around the clock. You will lose some stats, though, so be careful about that. It's much easier along the way in the final home stretch. Is the Wing Chun done? Nope, the Wing Chun is not done, so let's have some Wing Chun fun while we sit here. Sometimes you get a big bubble. I don't know if that actually matters or if it's just a graphical glitch. I'm inclined to lean towards the graphical glitch section of my brain, but then again, I always lead towards glitches first because I'm a douche like that. And this will probably get us here now that that's recharged, but we're going to lose the 19. Yeah, we're going to lose it on the 1 yard line here. That means it should be open for a gain today. And you can see how little that meter is moving. I think we should be able to push for a 20 pretty safely. It's going to take a while, and it's going to be a tad grindy. But a 20 should be achievable with our current stats. I think when I beat the game on my strength character, I was running 19 strength, 19 agility, and I think like 6 stamina. And the stamina was just kind of an after effect of me jump roping and training agility on this thing over here. So it's doable, I think. It's just going to take a little bit of work. Once again, if you want to make the fastest gains, do not sleep. Sleeping is the ultimate, like, game dragger outer at this point. At this point in our quest, sleeping is the last thing you want to do. You just want to stay awake for days by drinking tons of coffee. And actually, at this point, I would say that's probably the only way that you're ever going to gain stats, because the full day it takes you to sleep up an entire meter will more than likely cost you... You'll have an off day where you run out of stamina, so that'll cost you one little chunk. And if it lands just right, by the time you get sleeping, you'll lose another little chunk. It'll be difficult to recover from. He's got cognac right there. I got some Fireball whiskey the other night, and I've been looking forward to drinking it this weekend. Seriously. It's going to be... This guy just ate 2 whole turkeys. What a gangster. 2 entire giant turkeys. What was your lunch today, sir? 2 giant turkeys. That was my lunch. Let's go ahead and shoot a movie, shall we? So we got to fight aliens. It should be pretty easy. We should not struggle with this very much. This should be one of those things that we'll be able to... We should be able to traipse through pretty easily, in my opinion. I don't know if we'll be able to win them all. Some of the final fights can be nasty, but we'll give it a try and see what happens here. We should be able to skate through some of the earlier fights without too many problems, without much provocation. I mean, there's always RNG, And there's always the chance that our dear little alien friend right here, we've got to deport him. He's an illegal alien, apparently. He's on our planet. He's sucking up our cows. He planted a flag. You know how ballsy that is? He landed on our planet and then planted a flag right after he landed. Was like, yep, this is now ours. I don't care that there's already things here. We claim it. That's ballsy, alien. He's like, well, our species doesn't have balls, but I get what you mean. They're like, man, how do you guys live? I mean, you don't need balls to be happy, but I don't know, some form of genitalia seems like it'd be pretty awesome. I like mine. I mean, I've never had any complaints. I've never, you know, I'm not saying I haven't taken complaints. What I'm saying, I don't have like a suggestions and complaints box for my wiener. That'd be kind of an interesting thing to have at the front of your house, though. Please leave all questions and comments in the suggestion box by the bedroom door. I feel like you're being a little overcritical right now. That slight left turn, that's something that has been refined in my family for like decades. That's what we're known for in the Appalachians. We're like, just bring that thing. God, what are we even talking about right now? So here's how this works. You win fights in a row. It's a chain fight, and if you can actually get to the end, it's really, really awesome. Or you can gas out, and you can be a little weasel and just be like, I'm going to take a prize. But I would strongly recommend you at least make it to the 4th fight, because if you go here, you're losing fame. And that is not the business that we're in. These aliens are going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Apparently he has homies. This guy's got a head flap. So hopefully that head flap doesn't... I hope it doesn't help him with his fighting proclivities at all. He's also got Boxer and Boxing Punch, which is actually a hard combo for agility characters to counter. Because Boxing Punch combined with the Boxer ability makes Boxing Punch very, very, very accurate. And so it can be pretty troublesome trying to get around that ability sometimes. I was running Boxing Punch. I was running... Clothesline, I was running Exhauster, I was running Tiring Strikes, and I was running something else. I forget what the 5th ability, oh, Triple Punches. That's what I was running with my strength build, and I was almost unanimously knocking people out before the half of the first round. It was just bing, 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 bing. I think my biggest combo was for like 223 damage. Most people go down in the first round unless they are also strength builds. And then I'm hitting them so hard that I drained all their stamina within the first couple hits anyways. Because when you have exhausting strikes, I think you drain like 50% of the damage from their stamina, so you land a 60 damage hit, they lose 30 stamina, and so you gas them out by hitting them so hard. It's a pretty amazing build. People always bitch about strength in this game, but it's definitely doable. It's just the runway for it is a lot longer than other builds. Man, they let us do this movie in our shorts. We didn't have to go to wardrobe or nothing. There's another knockout. Looks good. And you can do this like every day. So once you win, you just go back downstairs, you do your thing, and then you can come back, and you can just do this over and over and over again. The fights do get harder each time that you do it until they cap out with like a championship bout, which is actually pretty nasty. The final one, well, you'll see. I don't want to spoil the surprise here. He's almost gassed out already. I'm not dealing a lot of damage back, but I don't want to drain. Our stamina's low enough right now to where I don't want to drain my own shit by trying to fight him riskily. I'm not going to run the other one. I think I read the other abilities wrong. Now that I've looked at him for a bit, it may work the way I described, or it may charge you stamina in order to deal 100% damage, whereas this is completely and totally free for partial damage. I can't tell you. You'd have to talk to somebody who's actually involved in the development, who knows how the programming works inside. What was that right there? Do you see that weird triple kick thing he just did? But he didn't land anything? Weird. I'm going to drop Rain of Strikes, and let's put in something a little bit bigger here. Actually, Backhand High Punch might be more... What's the difference? Oh, it increases the energy cost for opponent's skills. Okay. There's got to be a difference here. Wow, get in there, man. That's what I like to see. Got a knockout on that side. We should be able to keep him gassed out pretty easily, especially for multiplying the cost of all of his abilities. Every single time he strikes at us, we should be able to take this one deep. I think we should be able to go with this one, which is nice because I want the skill points. More than anything, I want the skill points for winning. It does take us a lot longer to finish opponents, though, than my strength guy. My strength guy, you're either out by the end of the first round or I lose. That's it. That's all there is to it. You are either knocked the hell out by the end of the first round or I lose completely and totally. We've got our next fight, which is going to be against a slightly better agility build. We are going up against the Mars Attacks aliens. Mars Attacks from the aliens, they are from space. That's one of my favorite Misfits songs. Although I will admit that despite his politics, I like the Michael Graves album the best. I think Michael Graves was the best singer that they ever had in the Misfits. I really... There were some pretty dope songs on that album. I think he only did one. It might be because that was my first Misfits album, too, aside from just, like, random stuff. Did he do 2 albums? I can't think now. Was Scream on a different album than there was The Red Ghost? Was that on 2 different albums, or was that on the same album? I can't remember. I'm not a big enough Misfits fan to tell you. Still, I've always preferred Michael Graves to any of the other singers. I'm always surprised the Misfits are still going, but I guess you gotta pay those bills. You might want to retire, but music's a tough business to be in. I'm willing to bet the Misfits probably make a lot less money than most people think. Music is a really, really tough industry to be in. Like, there are very, very few like, even really, really popular acts that have been around for a long time usually don't turn, like, massive profits. The only people that make huge profits are the people that are in, like, top 10 radio, pop, and hip-hop and stuff like that goes, like, triple platinum. You can be in a super successful heavy metal band and still not make much money. It is a labor of love. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. And even so, I've noticed that being poor and hungry all the time can diminish the love of something very, very rapidly. Let's keep pushing through. We've had nobody yet who has a challenge. That looks kind of like a predator, like predator, so I don't know if that's true or not. I kind of like this build that we're running right now. Those little punches in there actually work out pretty well for us. And they don't cost us much either. Like, we're going in on this guy. On top of that, we're making his shit way more expensive. Wow, he's doing a decent job of dodging us, though. Ooh. That would have been a trouble spot for my strength character, because he would have sunk like 35 damage right there. It would have been problematic. We're actually losing stamina at an absurd rate. So I will go ahead and swap. He's not a strength build, so whatever. I don't know if I should put that in, though. That seems a little drastic to skip turns. Let's just put in a defensive ability, and we'll see how our stamina does on this round. I don't think we'll drain out 70 stamina in one round unless he gets really, really attacky. Which is kind of like being attacky, but it's being kitsch about your attacks. Don't be kitsch about your attacks. He should hit us at some point because he's got decent agility. 10 should not be able to hit 19 consistently, but he should every now and again land an upsetting hit. I think if we were going to go in, I need the extra skill slot. So we'll take that next, or at least we'll try to get to it next. I don't know if it's actually multiple spaces away. I might need to buy a couple abilities to get there. I've been skipping a lot of stuff in the trees, trying to go after the really, really aggressive stuff to accelerate us finishing the game. Because I don't want this to be extra grindy here. As you can see, the end of the game can definitely take a little while and drag a little bit. There's another knockout. Perfect. I don't remember who the next fight is. I don't think the next fight is that bad, but I could be mistaken. He's got a trouble build. He could be a problem. Let's go ahead and just kind of see how we do with our default build. I'm of the opinion that we'll probably do okay. 11 once again does not give him a great chance to hit us, and he's got just enough strength to threaten himself every single time he swings. In addition, because he's running a strength build but not with a lot of stamina, we should be able to keep him on the deck the entire time, I think. All we have to hope is that he doesn't get really, really lucky with a big combo. That's pretty much it. That's Strength Characters 101. If they get lucky with a big combo, it can basically end a fight for you really, really quickly, with it not really being your fault. I got unlucky a couple times with my Strength build, where even with like 18 agility and 19 strength or whatever, every now and again, somebody would just land like a 130 damage combo on me, and it was just like, what are you going to do, you know? Sometimes you get tagged. Sometimes you get tagged, and you can't walk away from it. You just got to take the damage and hope for the best. A little bit more damage out right there. We're fighting against a Xenomorph now. I don't think I need to point that out. We are the Ripley. So let's go ahead and, believe it or not, we're going to kick the shit out of the Xenomorph. Let's go! There's the 23. And that was actually way simpler than with my strength character. It took me a while to win some of these fights. We'll take the prize. You've ended the endurance fight and get 1,500. It looks like we're fighting. You see right there? It looks like we're fighting in the warehouse with that background. Like the warehouse down south in town. Now, this is very important. That $1,500 is going to help us buy energy drinks nonstop when the coffee and when the herbal supplements run out. The 350, that gets us to our first championship fight. The 25 points gets us to our next ability, because I think everything in the game, as far as skills goes, I think they cap out at 25. Long timer might be nice, but I'm going to leave it alone for right now. So if I wanted that agility focus, I got to get to roundhouse kick. Oh, man. I'm deep from roundhouse kick. Alright, well, we're going to start from this way. Cool-headed also seems pretty awesome. But we're out of time for the day. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Punch Club. I will see you all in future episodes. Bye, everybody.